Survivor Series match card predictions. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, we do this for every PLE.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's some fantasy booking that we kind of love to do or predicting. This one, though, I felt like as I was going through it, I was like, oh, not as much kind of up in the air to me.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. There were a couple of big questions that I had, and the problem is WWE seems to be sticking to short cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the one we just had?
The Crown Jewel one?
Crown Jewel was longer compared to most of the cards. Normally they stick to like 5 matches right now. They had 7 at Crown Jewel, so like hoping this one's bigger because we've already got pretty much a lot planned on the table, it looks like. So let's get right into it. I'll go first here. One that I had, Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins round 2. Do you add a stipulation here? Maybe a last man standing to make it interesting? I don't know, but it does look like after Monday Night Raw when Bronson Reed decided to destroy everybody, that rivalry is going to continue, even though you'd kind of think that the other guys would also be pissed about him attacking them as well. So maybe something there, but I see this happening at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I have that one on my list. Like I said, in the open, I guess. It seems like there's not a ton up in the air. Mm-hmm. There seems to be I would say, probably 5 matches that I'm like, okay, these are definitely going to happen. And that is one of them. I have that one on my list. Yep. As for the next one that I have on my list that I feel like is a guaranteed given is going to be Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens.
Yep.
We have that after the Crown Jewel, not getting a match, kind of the random brawling sort of thing. I'm expecting, without going too far into it, I'm expecting Kevin Owens to kind of destroy Randy and just kind of keep destroying him. And maybe you have Cody eventually go in for the save sort of thing. But yeah, Randy, Kevin Owens, round 1, but kind of round 2.
So here's my thing. I also had Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. As I was going down my match card, and we'll get to the rest, obviously, but I was sitting there like, where the hell does Cody Rhodes fit into all this? Like, it's Survivor Series. It's one of the big 4. Of course Cody Rhodes has to show up. I put him in this match as a special guest referee. Uh-huh. Yep, special guest referee Cody Rhodes with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. I mean, it would be perfect. First off, it wouldn't, you wouldn't have to force a 1-month program with somebody for Cody, right? You wouldn't have to force feed us some random feud here. You would get him naturally into the Kevin Owens Randy Orton mix, and then throughout that match you could have the Randy Orton stuff start to stir, right? You could really have him slowly maybe take on a heel role. We all know he's been eyeing that freaking championship every freaking week on SmackDown whenever he's around Cody Rhodes. So that's coming, in my opinion, and I just feel like it'd be the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I definitely thought that if you're going to have him on the card some way, somehow, I don't see a way that he has a match at Survivor Series, just like you. So I think that's the only way they do it. You would have Kevin at that point being like, oh, well, we're really going to pick sides. Like, Nick Aldis, you're picking sides. Don't you know these two are against me sort of thing? So I could see that happening. I don't know if I would go so far with like the Randy heel stuff yet, but like if you're going to do it, you kind of got to start doing that because we all think maybe Rumble-ish. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to get that ball rolling eventually,
Yeah, you could even have Cody count the 3 and have Kevin Owens get the win, and then that's how you start getting Randy Orton. I don't foresee it happening in terms of like Randy just turning heel on Cody mid-match, but it's one of those. It's a stipulation that could easily plant the beginning seeds of a long-term rivalry between Cody and Randy, and like we said, not much fitting in for Cody on the card, so seems like a good fit.
Yeah, not much fitting in, and I mean, it feels weird, right?
Yeah.
It feels really weird not having him on some way, somehow. And WWE, to their credit, they've loved stipulations. They've kind of brought back a lot of stipulations, so yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, moved on. A couple of ones that we already know, or I guess they haven't really announced whether or not they're going to be at Survivor Series, but they're 2 big matches, and I would assume that's what we do here. Go ahead and take the first one here for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Liv Morgan takes on Io Sky. That match was cemented this week in terms of at least Io being the challenger. Like I just said, we don't know for sure that it's going to be at Survivor Series, but Io wins the big Battle Royale match. That's going to be big stuff. Liv's also kind of working something with Bianca and Jade right now. They have her and Raquel have a match against them next week on Raw for the titles. That could get a little bit interesting, but I do foresee this being at Survivor Series, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was really thinking about it. You think about your matches, and yeah, they've already cemented that. And the next one I had on my list, Gunther versus Damian Priest. I think both of those happen at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
You need some big fight feels for Survivor Series, obviously, and then you can kind of pencil in the War Games match or matches, depending on how you view it. So you look at it. I don't think there's any way they take place on like a Raw. I think they are specific. They're going to go directly to Survivor Series, but it kind of like, I don't know, begs the question, I guess. Like for me, it was like, I kind of was just like, where is, as we'll talk about it, I don't have any mid-card titles on mine, right?
Yeah, I had a, so I'm with you, Gunther, Damian Priest being on the card, but and then I guess we'll get to our final big ones later that I'm guessing we both kind of did, because obviously we don't show each other our list per usual, but I did have this just big section of others. I was like, God, I'm already getting to 5-6 matches here. War Games matches take a shit ton of time, right? Like those are no small feat to have on a card.
Right.
So do any of the mid-card titles make it on here? I'm guessing both tag titles are no-go. I'm guessing LA Knight is the most likely. If you're going to shoe in one more match, you have whoever wins. We assume that they're going to give Andrade and Melo a actual Game 7 match.
Yep.
So you have him fight whoever wins that, or you run back the triple threat match, because we had spoken about that earlier in a previous pod that like we wouldn't mind seeing this program be a triple threat program for a few times. But yeah, I mean, the only other match that I really could see is that LA Knight fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't put that on mine. I didn't put any of the mid-card stuff. I didn't put the tag titles. I guess spoiler, I have the women's tag champions in a match. But I don't have the titles on the line. So it's very interesting to, I guess, look at it for and I guess it's kind of the way WWE's been operating. Like, there's a lot of mid-card talent or tag teams that kind of run Raw and SmackDown week to week programming. And then your PLEs are just reserved for your like main eventers. And I wish it would be flipped a little bit.
Well, my issue with it is that we live in this day and age where the pre-shows are like 2 hours long. So why can't you shoe in a match there? No, I don't think that we should designate mid-card titles to there. But like, you could shoe in a couple more people every PLE, because at this point, the way they keep the match cards on PLEs so tight, it does feel like we're kind of seeing the same people over and over and over and over again on these PLEs, just kind of mix and match differently. And it feels like a robbery not getting LA Knight at every, he's so over, not getting him. And then of course, like at the beginning of the year, from Mania to SummerSlam, we were only getting Jey Uso on like Backlash, and that felt like robbery, man. And so I wish that they would take the 2 hour long pre-shows that they have and maybe do a little bit of storytelling there in terms of actual in ring, so that you can get some of these people, the Chelsea Greens, people that need some time at the big moments, put them on screen.
Yeah, I mean, and I think a perfect opportunity for that is, well, I mean, they're not going to do it. I don't have it on my list, but a perfect opportunity for that would be the Raw Tag Team titles. You could have JD and Finn versus the War Raiders, right? Like, we know that's eventually, like, I feel like that they're going to probably put that on a Raw. But I feel like for a tag title, make them feel like prestigious again. Like, not to steal Gunther's line, but like, bring the prestige back, make them feel important, and throw them on a PLE.
And that's a great point, because they're doing such a good job right now of actually building the War Raiders to be a threat. Have them win the titles in a big stage, like Survivors, even a pre-show on Survivor Series. It's a bigger stage than just your average Raw. So I couldn't agree more. But let's move it on. I got 2 War Games matches. You got 2 War Games matches?
Yeah. Obviously, one of them is pretty set in stone.
Yeah, let's just get that one out of the way. So the men's War Games is going to be the Bloodline Civil War. It's going to happen. We're going to have Bloodline 2.0, Solo, Fatu, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, and we're going to have OG bloodline, and it's going to be Roman Reigns. It's going to be Jimmy. It's going to be Jay, and it's going to be Sammy. Whatever happens in that match is something that is going to get interesting down the line, and hopefully we get some more seeds planted as we get there. But that should main event. That'll be a big one.
Yeah, I think there's no question that that's going to main event, as it should. I think we're going to get a lot of twists and turns in the match. I think we're going to get a lot of seeds planted. Maybe some new plants get incorporated some way, somehow. So I think that obviously deserves to be the main event, and it's going to do justice and blow my expectations out of the water. Like whatever I could imagine, it's going to be better.
It's going to be 2 hours long.
Yeah, right. Like all the dramatic pauses.
Do you think Roman gets pyro when he enters when he gets his entrance in the War Games match?
From the
he exits the cage and points and gets more pyro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Roman might just start just to get the pyro. He might just do that. Why not?
Who starts?
Jimmy. Tamatanga and Jimmy, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably who I would pick.
You probably go Jimmy, Jay, have Sammy and Roman. Or maybe, no, you have Jay and Roman last, right? Because then Jay's going to be like, well, I should go last. And then they're going to have that macho man thing going.
Yeah, that's how I would do it, at least.
Give me your women's.
Okay. So as I said, I have the women's tag champions in there. So I have Jade and Bianca with Bailey and Naomi.
Hey, I have that.
I also have Mi Chin in there.
Oh, you have 5.
I have 5.
I didn't go 5.
So this was the reason why I went 5, and I'm not too sure on the 5. It might be 4. It might be 5.
I just figured they'd match the men because the men's are obviously 4v4 at this point. So I figured, screw it, they'll go 4v4.
Yeah, I just felt like maybe they wanted to get more women on the card. I feel like that Bloodline one is so cemented that like obviously you can't add anymore. So maybe you do it here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Versus
PFC.
I originally think they were supposed to be in something like this, like some sort of,
Might be right.
They dropped the ball. Yeah. Versus Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton. I have Chelsea Green and Piper.
Oh, I don't.
And Candice LeRae. So the only reason, because I know who your 4v4 is before you even mention it, the only reason I didn't put those two on Nia and Tiffany's team is because it's in Canada. I feel like they love to give Chelsea Green the shine. There's already so many, I guess, story plots weaving in with Chelsea Green that I feel like that's kind of where they're going to go, even though I think your pick, I wrestled back and forth, right?
Yeah.
I wrestled back and forth between the two. I also have Candice LeRae in there, more so for the Nia Jax stuff, because it seemed there for a little bit she was kind of taking the place of Tiffany.
Yeah, that was nice.
So
good point.
I feel like maybe some way, somehow, and obviously the news about Indy Hartwell leaving is there. So you have to have Candice in there some way, somehow, or give her something to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I put the 5v5. Plus you have the Bailey interesting dynamic with Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. I just feel like maybe 5v5, there's so many story plots they could do, even though it was kind of tough for me to put Chelsea Piper because they did just take the loss at Crown Jewel and they looked so comedic.
Right.
I really struggled with that, but I also thought to myself that maybe that's just who takes the pin again.
Yeah, so I mean, I did 4v4 women's War Games, but I had Team Nia taking on Team Bianca. So I got Bianca's team. I have Bianca, Jade, Naomi, Bailey. I don't have a 5th. And then on Team Nia, I have Nia Tiff, but then I have Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, Meta Girls. I just feel like that's the bigger storyline in terms of who's challenging Jade and Bianca, because obviously that what's going to lead this match is going to be the Tiff and Nia stuff once again. But then if you want to throw in women's tag team title drama, you throw in Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend because they are being booked to be the equivalent or be the perfect opposition for Jade and Bianca. And I think this would just be perfect. Put them in a War Games. Those NXT talents are crazy. And I bet what they could do in a War Games match would be insane. NXT call-ups always kind of do the crazy stuff and go over the top. You put them in this, it'd be phenomenal. But to rebuttal that right away, Chelsea Green is always over the top in the biggest cards. So I would love to see Chelsea Green in that spot. I just think that recent stuff and story between the Meta Girls and Jade and Bianca supersedes it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the two. It's either what you said or what I said. And like I said, I went back and forth with the Meta Girls versus the Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And I was like, I guess I'll just take Chelsea Green because dating back to like the Money in the Bank stuff. And we've just seen so much interaction with like Nia, Chelsea, Piper, Bailey, Piper, Chelsea, Naomi. Like there's been so much interaction there that I just was like, you know what? Like, why not just do it? Plus, like I said, Chelsea being from Canada, they love to put her in matches when she is in Canada. And that's the whole reason. But I almost would argue that your match, the Meta Girls with Nia and Tiffany, would be more important because you do want that tag team continuity.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they battle that, especially with the Jade, Bianca, Raquel, Liv stuff that was also kind of hinted at. So I'm really intrigued to see kind of how that goes.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with everything you said. That match is going to be amazing as well. The 2 War Games matches have potential to go absolutely crazy if there does end up being 2 War Games. We could just not get a second War Games because we all know damn well Bloodline is going to take an hour and a half in that ring.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say. I was literally about to say it's going to be an hour and a half of just Bloodline stuff. But like, I'm not going to complain. You know, I'm just going to be like, okay, yeah, they're doing the thing. Like, cool.
Yeah. Well, what's more likely at the Survivor Series, a Tiffy cash in or like a Bloodline 2.0 beating OG Bloodline in War Games?
I think there's some sort of Bloodline something, like whether it's a debut, a turn. I do think Bloodline 2.0 wins. As for the Tiffy cash-in stuff, like, I don't know if it's by design from them, but I'm just over guessing when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to happen at Crown Jewel, and obviously you did too, and it was like, bet the house on it. I'm kind of just like, hey, you know what? Whenever she does, I don't know if I care as much because I'm already on the train of fail to cash in. Let's get to the real feud.
100% more likely is Bloodline 2.0 winning because I don't think she's ever going to cash that damn thing in. She's going to be running in the ring over and over and over again and almost cashing. Will she? Won't she? Will she? Won't she? I could see her like getting the Money in the Bank briefcase in the War Games match and then like Bailey or Jay just picking it up and throwing it out of the ring and it just being gone.
Yeah.
And she's like, come on, it was Tiffy time.
Or maybe Nia does it. Maybe that's where you get the seed of the real, I guess, heat or the real issue there. Maybe she's just like, we're not doing this. And maybe she throws it. Who knows? Maybe she tries to. Maybe Candice LeRae stops her if Candice LeRae's in the match, you know. I think they're going to tease it again. I don't think we're going to get one.
Yeah, me neither. It should be Tiffy time, though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, those were our predictions for what the SummerSlam card is going to look like this year. We are only...
Survivor Series card.
Survivor Series card looks like this year.
We're running it back. We're going back a few months.
SummerSlam, and whatever. It's coming up quick, and it's going to be good. It's at the end of November. I mean, we're right on it, man. So looking forward to it. But anyways, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcast at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. If you want to come talk to us, we do have a Discord. It's in the link tree in our bio. It's got all of our socials. Come chat on all of our socials, man. Comment, all that stuff. We love talking with you guys. Until next time, though, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. And we will see you next time.